بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. So we were discussing that after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the most entitled to Khilafat was Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, then Umar radiallahu anh, then Uthman radiallahu anh, then Ali radiallahu anh, whom we know as Khulafa Arba'a, the four rightly guided caliphs. In the era of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, and the era of Umar radiallahu anh, and somewhat the era of Uthman radiallahu anh, there was some unity. However, there was some division at the time of Uthman radiallahu anh that led to the martyrdom of Uthman radiallahu anh. It was afterwards, upon the beginning of the rule of Ali radiallahu anh, that there were greater fractions. And especially after the martyrdom of Ali radiallahu anh was the rule of Muawiyah radiallahu anh. And all of them were the Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as we've said before, we say good words and we have good feelings about them. And they are radiallahu anhum wa radu an. Allah is pleased with them and they were obviously pleased with Allah Azza wa Jal. Now the contention is Yazid, the appointment of Yazid. That was he worthy or was he not worthy? Was he a suitable candidate to be a ruler or was he not? Obviously Muawiyah radiallahu anh assumed that he was. And Hussain radiallahu anh, Abdullah ibn Zubayr radiallahu anh, many people in Medina and many others thought that he was not the right candidate to be the leader of the believers. Now there was division. Should they submit to Yazid and accept for greater consensus and unity? Or should they stand firm for the truth? Some submitted to Yazid because of the greater unity. However, Hussain radiallahu anh knew that people were looking up to him. He was the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His bay'ah, his pledging the allegiance would be assumed to be an endorsement. And he rightly believed and he strongly believed that Yazid was not entitled to it. So therefore he took it upon himself as a religious duty to stand up for the truth, to oppose what he saw as injustice and wrong. And even when the Walid, the governor of Medina, tried to tempt him, to force him to submit to Yazid, Hussain radiallahu anh refused, and immediately afterwards he left Medina Tayyibah and came to Makkatul Mukarramah. Then we discussed whilst Hussain radiallahu anh was in Makkah, Sha'ban, Ramadan, groups and flocks and crowds of people from Kufa came and he received hundreds of letters of support that were here to assist you, were side by side. We place our hands in your hands. We are willing to pledge allegiance to you to stand for the truth. You have our support, you have our base. Now Hussain radiallahu anh received all these and very enthusiastic letters. So if there was the support of thousands of these people, there was a base, then inshallah, he assumed that he would be assisted and helped in his endeavor. It's always a challenge to stand up before the authorities. So there were many others who discouraged him. There were many others who sat away. There were many others who submitted to Yazid. Because it was always going to be a challenge. Who would rise to the challenge? And any challenge calls for struggle, endeavor. So Hussain radiallahu anh decided to send his cousin Muslim ibn Aqil, go to Kufa and find out the situation. If the conditions there are favorable, then inform me, and then Hussain radiallahu anh with his family would travel from Makkatul Mukarramah to Kufa. So Muslim bin Aqil arrived there in Dhul Qa'dah 60 AH. When the Kufans learned, the people of Kufa, when they learned that Muslim bin Aqil has come, he's the cousin of Hussain radiallahu anh, he's the representative of Hussain radiallahu anh, they swore that they would pledge their allegiance at the hands of Hussain radiallahu anh. Dozens came, hundreds came, thousands came, up to 18,000 people in Kufa came and they swore their allegiance to Hussain radiallahu anh in the presence of Muslim bin Aqil. Now when Muslim bin Aqil felt confident enough that there is a base here, there is a support for Hussain radiallahu anh, he informed him that here many people have sworn their allegiance to you. There is great support for you. Here you will find reassurance and you'll find people who will support. Travel, come to Kufa. Whilst all this is happening, he sends an envoy, a messenger to Makkatul Mukarramah to tell Hussain radiallahu anh, come over, the conditions are favorable, there's peace, there's sukoon, there's no infighting, there's no danger to your life. And these people will support you from the beginning till the end. Now with all this, Yazid ibn Muawiyah radiallahu anh, replaced the governor of Kufa. Otherwise it was Nu'man ibn Bashir radiallahu anh. So he replaced him with someone more ruthless and who would be stern and fearless in confronting Hussain radiallahu anh. Nu'man ibn Bashir would never stand before, would never confront the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now Yazid understood this, so he removed him and put an individual known as Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad was much more ruthless, stern and fearless in his opposition. And you will see this name popping quite often throughout this episode, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, that who was responsible for what had occurred, what will occur, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. So now, Muslim bin Aqil, he was residing secretly in the house of Hani ibn Urwa, because he realized that soon Hussain radiallahu anh will come. Now the governor has been replaced. Now there will be an arrest warrant against me. So he was hiding secretly in the house of Hani ibn Urwa. And he gathered at least up to 4,000 people, strong followers who took an oath of allegiance on Hussain radiallahu anh, and they proceeded to the governor's fort. The governor has been replaced. It's Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad now. So Muslim bin Aqil couldn't go himself because he knew that this person is a staunch enemy. But if he has the support of 4,000 local Kufans, then probably they could discuss, converse with him. When Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad saw that Muslim bin Aqil is coming at the gate of the fort, he sent some tribal leaders of Kufa to speak to the rest of the people, 4,000 people, and to threaten them, to draw them away from the support of Muslim bin Aqil. And he warned them that his wrath and his ghadab would descend upon them if they continued to support Muslim bin Aqil and Hussain radiallahu anh. Soon armies would come from Damascus, sent by Yazid to destroy them, to make their young men lose their lives, for their parents yet to lose their children, for their children to have lost their parents and become orphans. It was here that soon mothers came out of their houses and told their young men, come home. There are enough other people to support Muslim bin Aqil. There's many others to help Hussain radiallahu anh. As for you and our families, to protect us, come home. The fathers also came out of their homes to tell their young men, what will happen tomorrow to us and you when the armies from Damascus and Syria will come and they will demolish our homes? They will kill you. Gradually, all of them became weak and they lost their courage and they moved away from Muslim bin Aqil radiallahu anh. Although they began with 4,000 men, by sunset there were only 30 men standing next to Muslim bin Aqil. Otherwise, it was only Muslim bin Aqil by himself on the streets. So out of 18,000 we spoke about yesterday, out of 18,000 were reduced to 4,000, now reduced to 30, and even they were somewhat finding it difficult to provide their full support. But obviously he had already sent the letter. There was no way of communicating with Hussain radiallahu anh that the conditions have overnight changed. They are less favorable now. Although we had a stronghold of 18,000, now there's a handful of men. So eventually Muslim bin Aqil was captured from a house that he was taking refuge in. And Muslim bin Aqil was taken to Ubaidullah bin Ziyad, the governor, the newly elected governor. Now Muslim bin Aqil knew that soon he will face death. Soon he was going to be executed. He began to cry. But those tears were flowing from his eyes not because he would be losing his life. It was because Hussain radiallahu anh with his family were coming. And there was no way to let them know what had happened. So it was that thought that soon mercilessly what would happen to the fate of Hussain radiallahu anh and his family. Because today Muslim bin Aqil had been treated with disloyalty, dishonesty by the people of Kufa. Now Ubaidullah bin Ziyad, and he feared that the same fate will happen to the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Muslim bin Aqil begged a man known as Ibn Ash'ath that send someone quickly before I die to Hussain radiallahu anh to give him the message that Muslim ibn Aqil has sent me to you, informing you, go back quickly with your family, do not proceed to Kufa, do not come to Kufa. Why? Because we have been deceived by the people of Kufa. The people of Kufa lied to me when they said that they would stay with me. They lied to me, they lied to you, they've all turned away now, so go back. But later that day, it was the day of Arafah, 9th of Dhul Hijjah, that Muslim bin Aqil was taken to the top of the fort and he was executed in front of people. But now it so happens that Hussain radiallahu anh had already made arrangements to travel to Kufa. He was unaware of the death of Muslim bin Aqil and he was unaware of the conditions, and they continue, and inshallah we'll continue with what happened on the way and to the plains of Kufa tomorrow. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. Subhanakallahumma wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka.